Hey everyone, I'm Jamie and I hope you're having a fierce day. Today we're going to be working on animated GIFs. I'm sorry for anybody who pronounces it GIF. I pronounce it GIF. Recently, I found a really cute animated GIF of Deku from My Hero Academia, where he's bobbing his head back and forth, which I thought was so funny, and I just had to see what it would look like with the other characters. So I went ahead and did it, and it got so much attention on Reddit. Oh my god. I'm actually surprised nobody did this earlier, and so yeah, maybe it's because people don't know how to make animated GIFs, so I'm going to share it so that you guys can make your own wonderful pieces of art and share them and make the world a better place. Today we're going to be doing two. One is updating the old GIF of the characters with suggestions from Reddit. They were really, really funny suggestions, so I have to see what it looks like. I can't just not. And the second is the reason I'm making this video. The Vine, I dropped my croissant, is so good, and there's a character, Yuga, and I feel like it would be a great thing to see, but I think it's 67 frames, so I'm going to have to draw each frame and then color each frame. I can't justify doing that, which is why I have to make a video on it. If I just did this in my free time, I would feel really horrible about myself because I have a full-time job and I do freelance on the side and I sleep a lot, and so spending so much time on a GIF like this, if it comes out stupid, I'm gonna just feel like an idiot. So this way, I don't feel bad about wasting away my life making this. So let's do this. The first thing we're going to be doing is updating the GIF that I previously made of the characters bobbing their heads and adding the suggestions that a bunch of people on Reddit requested. So let's do this. Now you can see it has a ton of frames. I'm just scrolling through them right now. First, I'm just going to put each of these into its own group just to clean it up a bit so I don't have to scroll through so many frames. And then I add a white background so that I can see what I'm working on. An important thing to note, this is just a great rule of thumb, is that whenever you're adding, making an edit to something, save it as a separate file and name it with a number at the end, just showing which version you're on. So the first thing we're going to do was a suggestion that I should remove the head of the Endeavor figure. He idolizes All Might, but Endeavor probably wouldn't let him have an All Might figure since he is his father and they have some beef going on between the two of them. Todoroki's got some daddy issues, heavy, so we're just gonna remove that and then draw the little blip. And before you know it, we are done. So now I'm just going to take these and put them in a group and move on to Hawks. This is the clean line art that I used prior to coloring in. And you can see the two, I have MHA Kids, which is the lines, and then MHA Kids Color, where I add color. So what I do is I just delete everything that I don't want. And this way I can keep the eyes in the same position, which is really great for continuity in the GIF. So first I'm doing the eye shape, and I really try to get this right for the angle. It's a little bit difficult, but because he has such distinct features, it's easy to make it look like him. So now I'm just going to move on to the next layer, and we're gonna do it all over again. I periodically flash the previous layer just to give myself an idea of how the hair is going to lay, because I do want it to convey a sense of motion, and this way I can move the hair chunks with the wind, I guess, that it's creating. I don't know, it helps me. And now you can see all of these things going on. I'm drawing his wings. I wanted to have a little bit of a flutter. Yep, those are all the frames, and he looks very happy. So now we're going to add color. What I do is I select the areas, and this is never going to be perfect because I didn't draw my line art perfectly. I have a hotkey set up so that I can expand because I use this feature a lot. It's the expand selection tool, and I expand it by 2 pixels because I use a drawing pen size of about 4 or 5 pixels. You can see a bunch of white spaces, so I am going to have to go in and update that, fix it a little bit. But first, I just want to get all the colors in there. And while I'm doing this, I also make a color palette so that I don't have to have his dumb face in the background the whole time, but also because sometimes when you source colors from a photograph, they can vary a little bit, just because not every pixel is the same color. Even if your eye perceives it that way, there's something called dithering, and this will prevent that from happening. Now we're going through all of the colors, and before you know it, We are done! And then the third suggestion was to have Ida, which is a character known for his hand movements. He tends to do this a lot when he wants to get a thought across or when he's thinking. It's just in general, that's what he does. And so somebody told me that he should be doing the Ida hand thing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're starting with the Deku one because I just traced over the frame from the show for Deku. And so working from him will make sure that I stay closest to the original. If you work from previous drawings like I did with Todoroki, you run the risk of gradually getting further and further away from the original. And then when it loops back around to the original in the GIF, it'll look a little bit jarringly different. So you do want to have that consistency. Ida has glasses, he also has eyes, but I think it would be funnier if I didn't include them. So his hero is Ingenium, so I'm gonna give him that little figure. In general, he is very boxy, so he has a big box mouth. So there we go. Now we're just going to draw his hands in every frame. Now we're gonna color him in. And I think that he looks fabulous. Now what we're going to do, that we have all of the frames that we need, we're just going to delete the unnecessary layers. So we're going to delete the palette. We're going to ungroup everything that I previously grouped. This is because we're going to be using the animate timeline by making a frame from each layer. We're also going to delete the white background layer that I had. Otherwise, that would show up as its own frame, and we don't want that. I quickly add my name to each of these, which is great. You should always do this. There's nothing more frustrating than seeing something really, really cool and not knowing who made it, so you can never see more of that artist's stuff. So what we're going to do is go to the timeline tool. We're going to go over to the drop down and say make frames from layers. Instantly, you can see all of these layers. And so let's go ahead and preview this. First, we're going to change the time between each frame to 1/10 of a second. So now you can see it. They're bobbing away. But this, I think, is too quick. So what I'm going to do is duplicate each of the 6 frames for each person so they each have 2 head bobs. And this way you can kind of see each one. You don't have to, it's not as jarring. Now you can see him bobbing away. Even though it matches with the tempo, there's no music playing behind this, so I'm just looking at the visuals. Ida's hand starts at the bottom, and it looks a little bit weird, so I am going to put a frame before his hand hitting the bottom. And now we're going to play it, and hopefully it'll look a little bit more fluid. Yep, there you go. So now that we have that, we're just going to go to File, Save As, and then Save for Web. And now you can see it plays, and it's a little bit too fast. So what we're going to be doing is setting it to 0.08. And now it's I think perfect. So we're gonna set it to GIF 128 dithered. I actually should have set it to undithered just because there is no shading in this image, but I was too lazy to fix it, so it's just perfect. I love it. So we're gonna post this on Reddit now, and I will share the updates with you in a second. So this actually got a ton of attention as well. Everybody was super happy that they got to see their suggestions in the image, and I got a ton of more suggestions, so I'm likely gonna have to make another one. And a bunch of people said that it made their day. I'm just so happy that I'm able to make other people happy, and this is just even more proof that you should make it. You should make the GIF. If you want to see something, everybody else wants to see it too, and you know, give the world your gift. Your gift. Okay, so now into the fun stuff. We're going to be making a GIF from the Vine I dropped my croissant. I actually found it on Google in the form of a GIF already, so we're going to drag it in. And here you're prompted with missing profile. This just means that it doesn't have a color profile embedded in it. So when you open it, the computer wants to know how it should interpret the color data. I chose Adobe RGB just out of habit because I work a lot with things that can be printed, but this this is only ever going to be played on the internet, and the internet interprets everything by sRGB, which is a smaller color range. So this is an oof. We're gonna save it as sRGB anyway because we have to. Yeah, I just thought I should share that because I don't want to be spreading wrong information. So here it is. You can see all of the frames. So here's a picture of Aoyama. You can tell he already looks very French. He's blonde. I don't know. So what we're gonna start doing is just tracing each frame, and we're just going to add his face to each. So there he is in all of his glory, wearing a little blouse. And now we're going to duplicate the layer, put it on top of the next frame. We deleted the old frame, make the last frame invisible, and now we're going to make minor changes. For big changes like this, I just draw it from scratch. So yeah, now we gotta go through every single frame and draw him. I do exaggerate his features when he's shocked. I just think it's gonna be funnier that way. But guys, this took me so long. I think I'm playing it at like 6,000 playback speed. Okay, you can probably hear my cat behind me. We got a new cat tunnel for her, and she's freaking digging it. She's in there all day, every day, and it's adorable. And this is what I mean when I say this is so much work. It's way too much for me to justify doing for my own pleasure. So I had to make a video on it so that, you know, and there's a reason I'm doing this. So now that the lines are done, let's take a look. So now, like I said before, we're saving it as a color version so that we can add the color, and this way, if we ever need to go back for some reason and get the transparent line art, we can. So I have my color palette. I could use the wand tool, but I left a lot of gaps open in my laziness, so it would actually just be faster to use the lasso tool, I think. And now we use the color dropper, add the color, and move on. So again, 67 frames, here we go. Just adding the color to each one like freaking dead. It's a lot. And through going each frame, I did notice that a few of the frames for some reason were kind of weird looking. Like it was weirdly cut off, which you can see. I had to fix the original line art. And after each line art color that I do, I merge the layers so that they are fully colored. And this is the reason why you want to save it as the new file, because it's no longer going to be transparent line art. So now, the moment of truth, you guys. Let's see how it looks. So I have not watched it yet with the sound. We're gonna see if it's all been worth it.
Ah! I'm gonna drop my croissant!
It's so stupid! Why did I do this? Oh my god! This is so stupid!
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant! Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
Okay, well definitely 3 days of my life. The best 3 days I've ever spent. It did not go to waste. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but I'm so glad that I made it because now I know what it looks like. I am gonna upload it on my channel. People who don't watch this video are probably gonna be like, why? But you're welcome, the world. I made this, this piece of art, so woohoo! Anyway, thanks for going on this journey alongside me, and if you guys make any animated GIFs, please share them below in the comments because I want to see them and I'm so psyched. If you have any suggestions for the head bopping GIF, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. With the suggestions, it just made the GIF so much better. So thank you, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye!